We turn now to a dark criminal underworld, one that's pushing some exotic animals to the brink of extinction. It may sound like the business of a bad guy in an adventure novel, but the trafficking of rare animal parts is no fiction. It's a billion-dollar international industry. And as Neil Karlinski discovered, fighting against wildlife trafficking is no easy task.
In the jungles of Southeast Asia, rare and beautiful animals like the clouded leopard or a type of monkey known as the Duke langur could never have imagined their fate.
This is the pre-video of the search warrant.
A sprawling and little-known market in the shadow of the Minnesota state capitol, where federal agents uncovered a tiny slice of a multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprise that is rarely seen.
A slow loris is a primate. These are the dhole hides. These are tapir feet. These are Duke langur parts, hands and feet both.
U.S. Fish and Wildlife agents say illegal trafficking in wildlife is the #1 threat of extinction for animals ranging from elephants to tigers. Minneapolis Airport Inspector Linda Benson ran smack into the strange underworld during a routine check of passengers off a flight from Laos.
When we found the primate and the elephant skin and the elephant teeth, we knew we were onto something.
The passenger hardly looked like a top predator in the black market world of animal trafficking. She was an elderly Laotian woman by the name of Pa Lor. But her luggage told another story, a ghoulish collection of more than 1,000 claws, teeth, and skins hidden inside.
Were you surprised at what you were finding?
Yes. Usually when we work passengers, we'll find maybe one item. But with her, it was just such a large quantity.
But what was she doing with them? Inspector Benson called Agent Sheila O'Connor.
You ever seen anything like what you saw here?
No.
They tracked the woman to a stall in this market and sent a Laotian-speaking agent undercover with a camera. What he found, they say, was a marketplace for rare animal parts that were smuggled into the United States to be used for everything from medicine to sending a person bad luck. The agent discovered thousands of pieces, many from endangered species. There was a 14-pound elephant tooth for sale and the entire face of a rare primate for thousands of dollars.
We learned what some of the products were purported to be. Sero blood in little jars, about this size. Packaged like this with no label, but the white screw top. Dried.
Why would they be selling that?
It's used medicinally.
Medicine. In fact, traditional medicines drive the demand for many endangered animals on the black market, a problem you can't just see by looking, as we found with Agent O'Connor.
We're interested in knowing if any of these products might be made with protected wildlife.
And how would you know? I mean, I'm looking at packaging here. It seems impossible to tell.
It's pretty difficult when it's packaged like this.
Tracing an endangered animal from a bottle of medicine or even the skin used to make a woman's purse or pair of boots is extraordinarily complex. But it is exactly what agents do every day at the nation's only wildlife forensics lab in Southern Oregon.
I have a skin with no head, and the feet are turned inside out and dried. So I have to come up with what this was. No tail.
So how do you do that? I mean, okay, here we go. What is it?
It's a small-clawed Asian otter.
How do you know?
I start out doing a microscopic examination of the hair. That tells me what family I'm in.
Bonnie Yates is an animal morphologist. She studies the shapes and structures of claws and other parts and is expert in determining what they are. She showed us how she began dissecting the case, piece by piece. The lab has a Noah's Ark-like collection of every animal imaginable, a catalog of samples used as a basis for comparison when evidence like that found in the Pa Lor case is shipped in.
I said, you have elephant, you have sorrel, you have loris, you have Duke langur, all of these primates and endangered animals. I said, this is really big.
Big cases are nothing new here. This lab is such a unique resource. Samples are sent in from around the world, from some of the 175 countries that have signed a treaty to prevent the trade of endangered animals. It is a tough treaty to enforce.
Human and wildlife forensics is really similar in a couple ways. They both link a crime to a suspect and a victim. But with wildlife forensics, you end up with 30,000 species of victim compared to, human forensics, which is just one.
Laurel Neme has written a book about the lab, Animal Investigators, and she has studied dozens of animal smuggling cases in every corner of the globe.
So how big a problem is this?
Killing wild animals is really a big business. It's worth probably $20 billion a year. It's the third largest black market crime in the world.
So this is comparable with any illicit drug in this country.
Some of these wildlife products are more valuable than drugs.
More valuable?
Yeah. This is $100,000 roughly.
$100,000 for this. What is this?
It's a rhino horn.
Expensive because in some cultures a rhinoceros horn is believed to be a cure for cancer. But just seizing animal parts isn't enough. In the Laurel investigation at the market, it took the wildlife lab months to figure out what animals they were dealing with in order to move forward with a case. The variety of what they had to examine was enormous.
Here's some skin. And this, of course, is the elephant's trunk.
Oh my gosh, that's the end of the trunk.
And this one has been cut into segments. This is a monkey.
That's his face?
That's his face, yes. And that had a very high price tag on it, I think $5,000.
This table is just a fraction of what was seized. It is a surreal pile of evidence from a crime agents say is devastating the world's forests and jungles.
They're resources that belong to all of us. And when resources disappear, the whole planet can get out of whack.
And the case in Minneapolis, disturbing as it is and affecting so many animals, is just a drop in the bucket.
This case just busted in March involved $20 million a year and 500,000 animals a year.
Animals that are relying on some very high-tech friends a half a world away to hunt down and convict the worst predators of all. I'm Neil Karlinski for Nightline in Minneapolis.